I had someone who just told me, like, oh, do I have to drink tea? I hate tea. I can't do it. Like, I'm choking tea down. And I figured out that really the problem isn't that this person hated tea, but she didn't like the taste of the tea leaves and was overbrewing the tea. Hello, welcome back, my Cultivating Harmony family. It's Paige if you're new here. Today we're going to be talking about how to eat healthy according to Chinese medicine principles, and I'm going to supply you guys with 5 easy tips to get started today. So it's really great even for beginners and those are more familiar with Chinese medicine even to get started with these tips. I think they're really accessible to everyone and easy to implement and that are often looked over. Tip number 1, be consistent. Now, I know that sounds easy, right? But so often people are not eating, let's just use breakfast as an example. They're not eating breakfast at the same time every day. Sometimes they're working, so they're eating at 6 a.m. Other days, they're not eating until they get to their desk at 10 a.m. And, really that inconsistency of not having a breakfast, lunch, and dinner time that is somewhat consistent can be really hard on our digestion because it can't anticipate, when should I eat or when am I going to eat again, right? So just trying to be consistent with meal hours, try to eat within the same hour every day. So if you're eating breakfast, try to eat breakfast every day between 9 and 10 or, lunch between 1 and 2 and dinner, 5 and 6. So that's a really easy way to get started and let your body be more prepared to digest what you're going to put in. Tip number 2. Start trying to incorporate more wet breakfast. So this is a huge thing in Chinese medicine, right? Doing things like oatmeal or rice porridge. You can try to be more creative and incorporate different types of grains such as, barley, millet, even some beans they will add in Chinese medicine such as, a dookie or red bean. It's great for dampness. For those of you who are damp, really just being able to supply your body with a little bit of that moisture first thing in the day really helps to get things moving and flowing nicely. It's also really easy to digest things that are already broken down for us. So when you have, rice that's broken down to a porridge, corn is a great one too. People will eat grits a lot of times. That's another great one. Just try not to throw tons of sugar and butter on top of everything. So tip number 3, this one is to eat seasonally. Now, this sounds easy, but I think, especially living in the West, we can get bananas in winter and, whatever tropical fruits we want, and, year round. And really, especially in the North, that's not really the time that we should be eating those things. So if you can try to incorporate more foods that are relevant to that time period or, the season that you're in, it's a really great way to attune your body to your environment. And this really is great because anyone can do it. So it doesn't matter, like maybe you are in the tropics, so eating tropical fruit, is appropriate for you in the winter or that time of year, People forget that, Mother Nature is really intelligent. It's a very intelligent design, and she will have things prepared for you that are appropriate for that time. So really try to let Mother Nature guide you in making those ingredient choices for your meals. Tip number 4, and this is going to be a rough one for some of you. Try to stop the late night snacking. Now, the problem with late night snacking is that the second half of your day, your body is really trying to prepare to, shut down. And when you're, eating at midnight or 1 o'clock, if you're waking up and just eating, sometimes, a lot of times, people are not even necessarily eating because they're hungry, but just out of habit. So I think trying to cut down on that, midnight snack might be a really great way to start attuning your body of, okay, we should be awake and we should be eating, or it's nighttime and we should be sleeping. So being able to attune your body with food to really what kind of functions it should do, because during the evening and during the night especially, your body really needs to repair itself and to rest, and it's not able to do that when trugging away trying to break down that steak meal you ate or whatever. All right, tip number 5. Now it's going to be a little bit of a different one, but try adding more teas to your diet. So I know a lot of people are really hooked on like sugary drinks or, even coffee. And coffee's fine once in a while, but I think a lot of people will drink multiple cups of coffee, all day long. And that's leading to, I guess, a caffeine resistance And also, it's drying, it burns you out, mentally and emotionally if you overdo it. So trying to add more teas, and it can even just be herbal. So I had someone who just told me, like, oh, do I have to drink tea? I hate tea. Like, I don't want to drink it. And tea is something that is really easy. I figured out that really the problem isn't that this person hated tea, but she didn't like the taste of the tea leaves and was overbrewing the tea. So what was happening was, every tea combination has, on the bag, how many minutes it should be steeping for. So some teas only need to be steeped for a minute or two, where others you can steep for as long as 5, 10, 15 minutes even. So really try to pay attention to the steeping time on the tea. And also I would really recommend not just doing tea leaf, regular teas, but also herbal teas. Herbal teas are really great, and there's so many of them out there that, like I said, can treat a lot of symptoms that people are having and can really add a lot to your overall health and well-being. I know it's common that chamomile is, it's great for going to sleep or resting, or so, shutting down, winding down the second half of the day. It's something that I give my kids, and it just helps them, kind of even out and settle down, and it's a good time to center them as well in the evening. And it's great for wind and Chinese medicine, which is another thing that's great for springtime. So, all right, guys, I hope these tips helped you. These are 5 easy ways for beginners just to get started eating healthy using Chinese medicine principles. I want to know below which one of these tips you think you will be adding to your life. So let me know below in the comments, and we will see you next time. Thanks.